Congratulations, Lewis, 2014 world champion.
World champion! Oh my God! I can't believe it!
Lewis, thank you very, very much for not making the British public sweat. You are an absolute legend. Well done, mate.
As I said before, this is the greatest moment in my life, and it feels very surreal. It feels like an out-of-body experience. I feel like I'm back here watching this going on. It's not really happening. So I'm going to really make sure I give my thanks and come.
Titles, multiple race victories and pole positions, and most importantly, 7 years of fighting at the front of the grid. As a neutral party, it's hard to understand what stops Lewis Hamilton from signing an extension with Mercedes. He is already the highest paid driver on the grid. He drives the fastest car on the grid by some margin, and in Valtteri Bottas, he has a teammate that's not going to be a challenge for him. Unless Mercedes is offering Hamilton less than what he's currently making and putting Max Verstappen in the other car, there shouldn't be any objections. But in all the rumors that we've not heard anything about a pay cut or Mercedes selling him short in any which way. All that has come out has been on the lines of Mercedes unwilling to fulfill Hamilton's demands. Hamilton is currently at 7 world titles, and if he's driving for Mercedes in 2021, then the 8th world title and the record are almost guaranteed, especially with Bottas driving the next car. This gives him the opportunity to become the winningest driver in the history of sport, even surpassing Michael Schumacher in the process. At 36 years of age, Hamilton doesn't have that many years left to give. Although he is still one of the best on the grid, it's hard to disagree that he's in the twilight of his career. At this stage, why not just sign the contract, drive the best car, and still be the highest paid driver on the grid? You have to question why Lewis Hamilton thinks he deserves a lot more than what he's being offered. Does he bring an unmatched level of performance? Yes, he does. Is he arguably the best driver on the grid? Yes, he is. Has he, in times of pressure, won Mercedes races that any other driver on the grid wouldn't have? Yes, he has. But at the same point in time, the most important question is, will any other driver on the grid be able to win the championship in that Mercedes? The answer here is sadly yes. Any driver on the grid will be able to win races and fight for championships in that Mercedes. Case in point, Valtteri Bottas has finished runner-up in the last 2 seasons despite putting together, at best, mediocre seasons. Such has been the dominance of the Mercedes car over the rest of the field that Bottas was able to beat the likes of Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc in the last 2 seasons. Sure, with the change in regulations in 2022, the grid might converge and Mercedes might need Lewis Hamilton to drive for them. But what if at that stage they approach Max Verstappen to drive for them in 2022? There is no driver on the grid that would say no to a Mercedes drive right now. And Verstappen would be more than happy to drive for the Silver Arrows. Now, this is something that Hamilton needs to understand. Formula One championships have been determined by the machinery for a long time. Even Hamilton had suffered because of this from 2009 to 2013, when he just didn't have the machinery to compete for the title. And Hamilton has reaped the benefits of this as well, as he has challenged for the title from 2014 to 2020, winning 6 of them, mostly unchallenged, because he drove for the fastest team on the grid. If he thinks he can move to any other team on the grid and still be as successful, he would be highly mistaken. The only reason why the standoff between Hamilton and Mercedes still exists is because of the relationship Hamilton enjoys with Toto Wolff and Wolff's insistence on sticking with Hamilton despite his demands. But if the demands made by Hamilton are too outrageous and Daimler doesn't agree with it, we could see what happened at Williams in the early 1990s, where they replaced their world champion driver with another one in 2 successive years. If Williams could do it to Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost, then we might see Mercedes do it to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton needs to realize that Mercedes brings a bigger hammer in this standoff. And if he doesn't sign, he would be at a massive loss, as he wouldn't have the opportunity to break Michael Schumacher's record. At 36 years of age, Lewis needs to wake up and smell the roses and understand that they all tell him to sign the contract, enjoy his reign at the top, and then drive off into the sunset. 9 years ago, in 2012, Hamilton made a decision that changed his career by joining Mercedes and leaving McLaren. In 2021, let's hope he swallows his pride and signs the dotted line. Now, these are my views. What do you guys think? Do you think Hamilton should sign the dotted line? Or do you think that Mercedes would cave in to Hamilton's demands? Do let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.